Alright, this is basically going to be a video going over RDV4. I must say that the RA1N DoSer series has gone on way longer than I ever expected it to. I've probably been making tools like this for the past 2 years, and the first tool I ever released was the sad RDV1, which was just a simple UDP flutter. No, I did not steal it from low orbit ion cannon, it's just I liked the way it was set up, so I set mine up the same. Since then, I've gained my own little GUI artistic abilities, so been working with all that. But let's go ahead and start it up. We have this nice little fade-in thing, and since this is the light version, not the pro, it's going to ask you for the ad fly. So I do appreciate anyone that actually does go through all this, and hits continue because that does help me out a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. And back over here, as you can see, here we have our control panel, so you can quickly do operations. So if we go to like www.yahoo.com, it's gonna convert the URL to the IP based because it just goes through the host and grabs the host IP. Then we can add that to our favorites, and it will be in our favorites drop-down box in the control panel. Now you can set the packets and whatever, anything you like. I just did this just for an example. If you want to set them up differently, you just type in whatever, and then if you hit set to default, then all these are going to change and they will stay like that on startup. Of course, you can always edit them over here. I would recommend not doing anything over 25,000 on these because it becomes unstable then. But anyways, if we go ahead and go to yahoo.com, that's going to instantly fill out all of these. Now, the UDP flood will send about 25,000 characters to the host itself. So, it's going to send about 25 kilobytes, which does add up over time. Your favorites will keep track of all your favorites you've ever added. If you want to add them manually, you can do this, so you can have your own notes, and this was added automatically through the URL to IP. Now, if we go through the speed settings, the SYN is the only one that the amount of bytes you send actually will affect the speed, obviously because you're sending massive amounts of information straight to the server. So, let's go ahead and go over this. Now, do you realize you have a total floods label down there? What this does is it keeps track of every flood you've ever done, kind of just like for the fun of it, to see how many you've ever used with this DoSer. So if we just go ahead and hit start, it's going to go up once it's going to send out a flood every 500 milliseconds. We can go ahead and start this one over here, and this is the one where it actually depends on how many bytes you're sending. So if we hit start, since it's about 2345, it's going to take it about roughly 1,000 milliseconds to send that. But if we were going to do like 5,000, it's definitely going to slow it down majorly, because you're sending information straight from your router, or whatever you're using, to the host. So, but as you can see, it's pretty user-friendly, pretty efficient. You can clear your favorites and history just by the click of a button. The form will auto-update itself as far as the history and favorites on a time limit. Simple timer, so nothing big there. You have a port scanner here to search for open ports. The common default port that is open is 80, 993, and 1003. So I just set it to 80 because it's the easiest to remember. But the failed floods over here, I don't know exactly why that never even shows up. Well, actually, I do know why. That's because you can always send out information. It's just whenever your own internet goes down, it's still going to be trying to send these out constantly. So it's technically impossible to fail a flood. That's just in case it runs into an error. I had it in there for debugging purposes. But anyways, so if we go over to our TCP floods, let's just go ahead and stop this, and stop our SYN, stop our UDP. Then you can see in our history, it'll tell us how much we've done. And if you add all those up and then put the extra 4 in there because I accidentally started again after stopping, then it will add up to 463. And as you can see, the form just automatically updated itself every 10,000 milliseconds, which is about every almost 2 seconds, or 20 seconds, my bad. But, anyways, the About Me tab I put in there because, I mean, I feel like people don't really ever get to know me because I'm always busy developing something. Whether it's a game, because I do develop games, whether I'm learning a new language, or whatever it may be. This way you have some contact information, so you can actually, like, message me or whatever and tell me what I could do differently, tell me how I could do it better, or whatever. So, RDV4 Pro will be out very soon, within the next 2 weeks to a month. I would just like to say it's going to have 2 extra flooding methods. One is my customized, like, fully redone working of DOSing a website or a host. And that's going to take a long time to get all the exploitations finally all figured out and taken from the systems in my mind to actual code and runnable code. And there will be no ad fly on the Pro, of course, because it's going to be paid. I would recommend that if anyone does buy this from me, please do not, like, leech it really hard. Because, I mean, the only thing I would really like to get out of it is, like, $50 to $100, even though that's pretty cheap standards based on what other people have made off their tools. I'm not really in it for the money at all. I would just like to see some actual support from the users. And, I mean, $50 to $100 is not really much, but it'll enough just to keep me going and buying some extra stuff that will help me improve my tools and such. And, I mean, of course I'm also going to be doing an HTTP flood for solely based website attacks. So, I will probably re-optimize a few things, such as port scanning, how much harder the UDP flood hits, like instead of 25 kilobytes, maybe I can get it to do 100 kilobytes, which would be insane. Now keep in mind, the more memory you're sending out of your own internet, the harsher it's going to deal on your internet itself. Meaning that if I'm doing, 100 floods per second, which is highly possible with RA1N DoSer, then you're going to be sending out probably about, 10 megabytes? And that's pretty hardcore. Like, you might crash your own internet if you don't slow it down enough. I might include a anti-crash system, which means it won't crash your own internet, and a stabilizer, so you know what ranges to put it from. So I might be doing those as well. So that's just some updates on RDV4. I will be going probably from $7 to $10 for lifetime usage, and I will also be throwing in free updates to those that I do have confirmed. So I will talk to everyone on the forum. Thanks again for all your support, and any AdFly views go a long way. So thank you, and goodbye.